Listen up. This isn't just another heartbreak, another toxic relationship, another painful chapter in your life. This is a wake-up call. This is life shaking you, saying it's time to rise. You weren't put in the narcissist's life by accident. You were placed there to grow, to see your worth, to break free from patterns that no longer serve you. You are being shaped, refined, forged into something unstoppable. So stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? Because once you shift your mindset, you stop being a victim and you start becoming unbreakable. Life has a way of placing us in situations that test our limits, push us to the edge, and force us to confront the parts of ourselves that we've ignored for too long. When you find yourself in a relationship with a narcissist, whether it's a partner, a friend, a family member, or even a boss, it can feel like you're trapped in an endless cycle of pain, confusion, and self-doubt. You may ask yourself, why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? But here's the truth. This isn't just happening to you, it's happening for you. There is a reason, a lesson, and a purpose behind this struggle, even if you can't see it yet. At first, it might feel like life is punishing you. Being caught in the web of a narcissist can be exhausting. They manipulate, gaslight, and drain your energy until you begin to question your own reality. You give and they take. You love and they exploit. You try to make things work and they twist the situation to make you feel like you're the problem. It's painful, it's frustrating, and it's easy to believe that you are simply unlucky or doomed to suffer. But what if this experience is not meant to break you, but to build you? What if this challenge is actually the catalyst that will push you toward your highest self? Because that's exactly what it is. When you shift your perspective from victim to student, everything changes. Instead of seeing this as a meaningless struggle, you begin to recognize it as a necessary transformation. One of the most profound things this experience will teach you is self-awareness. Maybe you've spent your entire life putting others first, ignoring your own needs, and bending over backward to keep the peace. Maybe you've been conditioned to believe that your worth is tied to how much you can do for others, how much love you can give, how much pain you can endure. But here's the reality. You were never meant to live at the mercy of someone else's dysfunction. This situation is here to wake you up, to help you recognize the patterns that have kept you stuck, and to give you the opportunity to break free. A narcissist has a way of exposing every weak spot in your armor. They push you to your emotional limits. They make you question your self-worth. They test your boundaries over and over again. And while it feels unbearable in the moment, there is something powerful happening beneath the surface. You are being given a choice. You can either allow this experience to define you, to break you down and to keep you in a cycle of pain, or you can allow it to be the moment you decide to rise. Think about it. Without this experience, would you have ever learned how to set boundaries? Would you have ever realized that your needs and emotions are just as important as everyone else's? Would you have ever gained the strength to say no more? I refuse to tolerate this behavior any longer. Probably not. Pain has a way of forcing growth. And this is your opportunity to grow in ways you never thought possible. The truth is, life is always trying to teach us something. Every difficult relationship, every painful experience, every heartbreak is designed to push us closer to our true selves. But the lesson will keep repeating itself until we learn it. Some people find themselves in toxic relationships over and over again, wondering why the same pain keeps showing up in different forms. It's because they haven't taken the time to pause, reflect, and ask, what is this trying to teach me? The lesson here is simple. You are worthy of more. You are capable of more. And you are strong enough to walk away from anything that no longer serves you. But that realization doesn't come easy. It comes through trial, through hardship, through moments of deep soul searching. And right now, that is exactly what you are being called to do. You are being asked to step into your power, to recognize your worth, to finally put yourself first. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. Yes, it will hurt. Yes, it will require you to let go of people, habits, and beliefs that no longer align with the person you are becoming. But that is the price of growth. That is the cost of transformation. When you look back on this experience, you won't remember the pain in the same way. You won't remember the sleepless nights, the endless self-doubt, the emotional exhaustion. Instead, you will remember this as the moment everything changed. The moment you decided to stop settling for less than you deserve. The moment you realized that you were never meant to stay small, to stay stuck, to stay trapped in someone else's toxic cycle. Because here's the truth. God did not put you in this situation to suffer. He put you here to awaken, to wake up to your worth, to break generational cycles, to step into the person you were always meant to be. So don't resist the lesson. Don't run from the pain. Face it, learn from it, grow from it. Because once you do, you will never be the same again. You will be stronger, wiser, unstoppable. And when you finally rise from this experience, you won't just be healing yourself. You'll be inspiring others to do the same. Life has a way of testing us, pushing us, and forcing us to evolve in ways we never expected. When you encounter a narcissist, it may feel like an attack on your spirit, like an unfair challenge that you never signed up for. But what if I told you that this challenge was designed to build you, not break you? That the pain you are experiencing is not a punishment, but an opportunity. That every wound, every moment of doubt, every time you've been manipulated or belittled, it's all part of a transformation that is shaping you into the strongest version of yourself. Adversity is the birthplace of strength. The people who achieve the greatest success, the deepest wisdom, the most unshakable confidence, they did not get there by living an easy life. They got there because life tested them. Life put them in situations that forced them to grow. They were pushed beyond what they thought they could handle, and they came out on the other side stronger than ever. Right now, you are being given that same opportunity. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like you're drowning, like you're losing yourself, like you'll never be the same again, and you won't be. But that's not a bad thing. You are not meant to stay the same. You are meant to evolve. You are meant to rise. And the adversity you are facing right now is the fuel that will ignite that transformation. Narcissists have a way of targeting the parts of us that need healing. They find the weak spots, our insecurities, our fears, our unhealed wounds, and they exploit them. At first, this feels like an attack, like a deep injustice. But if you look deeper, you'll see something else happening. You'll see that those weak spots were always there. The narcissist didn't create them, and once they are exposed, you have a choice. You can let them destroy you, or you can use them as a roadmap for growth. Maybe this experience is teaching you that you've been too afraid to set boundaries. Maybe it's showing you that you've spent your life seeking approval from people who will never truly see you. Maybe it's revealing that you've been conditioned to accept less than what you deserve. Whatever it is, this pain is shining a light on the areas that need your attention. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. You are being given the chance to change, to heal, to build yourself into someone who will never again allow themselves to be treated this way. Think about the strongest people you know, the ones who seem unshakable, who walk with confidence, who refuse to tolerate disrespect. Do you think they were born that way? No, they were made that way. They became that way because life forced them to toughen up, to grow, to learn their worth. And that is exactly what is happening to you right now. You are being given the opportunity to develop resilience, to become the kind of person who doesn't crumble under pressure but thrives in it, to be someone who no longer tolerates toxic behavior, not because they're cold or hardened, but because they know their value. This is your training ground. Every challenge, every painful moment, every time you've had to pick yourself up when you felt like giving up, it's all part of a process that is making you unbreakable. The discomfort you're feeling right now, that's growth. That's transformation. That's you shedding the parts of yourself that were built on fear and stepping into the version of yourself that is built on strength. And let's talk about that moment, the moment you finally see your own power. Because it's coming. It may not feel like it now, but there will come a day when you look back on this experience and realize that it was the turning point. The moment you decided to stop living for someone else's approval, the moment you started protecting your peace, your energy, your heart, the moment you stopped bending to fit into someone else's toxic world and started building a life that actually honors who you are. That moment is coming. And when it does, you'll realize that the pain was never pointless. It was never just suffering for the sake of suffering. It was a fire that burned away the old version of you and revealed the unstoppable force that was underneath all along. So don't resist this process. Embrace it. Use it. Let it shape you into the person you were always meant to be. Because one day, You're going to look back and see that this was the moment that made you. The moment you stopped being a victim and became a warrior. The moment you realized that you were never weak. You were just waiting for the right challenge to show you how strong you've been all along. Life has a way of waking us up when we've been asleep to our own worth. It shakes us, tests us, and sometimes even breaks us open so that we can see the truth we've been avoiding. Being in a relationship with a narcissist is one of those wake-up calls. It's an experience that forces you to see yourself in a new light, to confront the beliefs that have kept you stuck, and to step into a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, and more self-aware than ever before. It doesn't feel like that at first. At first, it feels like you're being torn apart, like everything you believed about love, trust, and loyalty is being shattered before your eyes. You question yourself. You wonder if you're the problem. You try harder, give more, compromise more, thinking that if you just love them enough, they will change. But they don't. And that's the moment when you begin to wake up. The awakening happens slowly. It starts with small realizations. The way you always feel drained after being around them. The way your confidence has eroded. The way you've started to doubt your own reality because of their manipulation. You begin to notice the patterns. The love bombing, the gaslighting, the silent treatments, the constant need for control. And then, one day, it hits you. This isn't love. This is control, this is manipulation, this is a cycle that will never change unless you change. That realization is painful because it means accepting that the person you love is not who you thought they were. It means acknowledging that no amount of love or sacrifice will ever be enough for them. It means facing the fact that the only way to heal is to walk away. And that is terrifying. Because by the time you reach this point, you've been conditioned to believe that you need them, that you are nothing without them, that you will never find love again, never be enough, never recover. But let me tell you something, those are not your thoughts. Those are the beliefs they planted in you to keep you small, to keep you controlled, to keep you doubting yourself so that you would never leave. And now for the first time, you are starting to see through the illusion. You are beginning to understand that the love you have been fighting so hard for has never actually existed, not in the way you thought. You were in love with potential, with the fantasy of who they could be, with the few moments of kindness that kept you holding on, hoping, believing that things would get better. But real love doesn't require you to beg for respect. Real love doesn't manipulate, doesn't devalue, doesn't make you feel like you're walking on eggshells every day. This is your awakening. This is the moment when you start to take your power back. And it won't be easy, because the moment you start to reclaim your strength, they will sense it. They will try to pull you back in. They will use every tactic they have, guilt, anger, blame, fake apologies, promises to change, to keep you where they want you. They will do everything in their power to make you doubt yourself again, because they know that once you see the truth, once you recognize your worth, once you decide that you deserve better, their control over you is gone. And this is where transformation begins. Because the version of you that tolerated this treatment, that version is fading. A new version of you is emerging. The version that knows their worth, that refuses to accept less than they deserve, that is no longer afraid to walk away. This is the version of you that was always there, hidden under self-doubt, under fear, under years of conditioning that told you that you had to earn love by suffering, but now you see clearly. Love is not something you earn by sacrificing yourself. Love is something that honors, uplifts, and respects who you are. As you step into this new awareness, you begin to break patterns that have been with you for years, maybe even for generations. Maybe you grew up in a household where love was conditional, where you learned that your needs didn't matter, where you were taught to put others before yourself at all costs. Maybe you have spent your entire life seeking validation from people who were never capable of giving it to you. Maybe you have repeated the same painful relationship dynamics over and over, wondering why you keep attracting the same kind of person. This experience is forcing you to see those patterns, to recognize them, and most importantly, to break them. Because once you awaken, you can never go back. You can never unsee the truth. And though the road ahead may be difficult, though healing will take time, you are now on a path that leads to true freedom, to real love, to a life where you are no longer trapped in cycles of toxicity, no longer settling for less than you deserve, no longer defining your worth through someone else's brokenness. And here's the most powerful part. Your awakening is not just for you. It is for everyone who comes after you, your children, your friends, the people you will one day help because you have walked this path and found your way out. Your story will be a guide for others who are still lost in the darkness, still questioning themselves, still believing the lies that were fed to them by people who were never capable of loving them in the first place. You are not just surviving this, you are transforming. You are stepping into the most powerful, authentic version of yourself, and one day you will look back on this moment, on this pain, and realize that it was the very thing that set you free. There comes a moment in your journey when you realize that everything you've been through, the pain, the heartbreak, the manipulation, was not meant to destroy you, but to refine you. It's easy to look at the experience of dealing with a narcissist and see only the suffering. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that you wasted time, that you were broken beyond repair, that you lost a part of yourself in the process. But what if the opposite is true? What if this experience was actually designed to shape you into the person you were always meant to be? What if this wasn't a setback, but a setup for something greater? Pain has a way of revealing who we truly are. It strips away the illusions, the false beliefs, the expectations we once clung to. It forces us to see things as they are, not as we wish they were. And when you go through something as emotionally draining as a relationship with a narcissist, you are given a choice. You can let it define you in a way that keeps you stuck, or you can use it as the fuel that propels you forward. Because whether you realize it or not, this experience is equipping you with wisdom, strength, and resilience that will serve you for the rest of your life. One of the greatest gifts hidden within this struggle is the clarity it brings. Before this, you may have tolerated behaviors that you shouldn't have. You may have ignored red flags, made excuses for mistreatment, or settled for relationships that were draining rather than fulfilling. But now you see things differently. You have learned to recognize manipulation. You have learned to listen to your intuition when something feels off. You have learned that real love doesn't require you to lose yourself in the process. That knowledge alone is priceless. It ensures that you will never allow yourself to be in the same situation again. And beyond that, this experience is teaching you about your own power, because there was a time, maybe even recently, when you felt powerless, when you believed that you were trapped, that you had no choice, that you had to endure the toxicity because leaving felt impossible. But you are here now. And that means something. It means that no matter how deep you were in the cycle, you have begun to rise. Maybe you're not fully out yet. Maybe there are still moments of doubt, moments when the narcissist tries to pull you back in. But the fact that you are seeking truth, seeking clarity, seeking healing, that is proof that your power is awakening. But what's even more incredible is that this experience is not just changing you. It's changing the way you move through the world. You are becoming someone who can no longer be easily manipulated, someone who no longer seeks external validation at the cost of their own well-being, someone who stands firm in their boundaries, who refuses to dim their light for anyone. And as you grow into this version of yourself, you will start to notice that the relationships around you begin to change as well. You will attract different kinds of people, people who honor and respect you rather than those who take advantage of your kindness. You will start to experience love in a way that is genuine rather than transactional. And most importantly, you will no longer accept anything that does not align with the love and respect you have learned to give yourself. This transformation will ripple into every area of your life. The confidence you gain from surviving this experience will show up in your career, in your friendships, in the way you carry yourself. You will notice that you no longer settle for less in any aspect of your life. You will start to take up space in ways you never did before. You will no longer shrink yourself to make others comfortable because now you see your value. Now you understand that your worth is not dependent on anyone else's approval. Now you know that the love you have been searching for has always been inside you. It was never meant to come from someone who could not love you in return. And perhaps the most powerful part of all of this is the impact you will have on others. Because your healing is not just about you, your story, your growth, your transformation. It will serve as a light for those who are still stuck in the darkness. There will be people who hear your story and find the courage to leave toxic situations of their own. There will be people who witness your strength and realize that they too are capable of breaking free. And in that way, your pain will have served a purpose far greater than you ever imagined. So as you continue on this journey, remind yourself that this experience was never meant to break you. It was meant to build you. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt was shaping you into the person you were always meant to be. And when you finally step fully into that person, when you embrace the strength, the wisdom, and the power that this journey has given you, you will see that none of it was in vain. It was all leading you to something greater. It was all preparing you for the life you were meant to live.